I saw your Joe Biden, YouTube piece on November the 3rd. Because you were doing your best for Joe, weren't you?
No, I wasn't actually. I think that's a misconception.
Sorry,
actually.
I apologize.
No, please don't. What I was trying to get to is it's not even necessarily about like Joe Biden per se. In society, we treat old people like trash. You know, they're slow, or they're forgetful, or they're like this, or that. The underlying message is always they're useless. It's like, well, wait, when did we become this society? Oftentimes, people make it seem like young kids don't have agency because they're young and because they aren't able to articulate themselves. But we forget that they have a schedule that is maybe more packed than ours every single day.
Yeah.
So for the book, I did a thing on my podcast where I interviewed kids, and from the age of like 5 or 6 all the way to 15. And it was interesting to actually watch self-consciousness in human beings at different age. Yeah. We're taught that there are two sides to every issue. It's this or it's that. It's this or it's that. Everything. It's this. Are you pro this or anti this? And I go, there's a third side to every single coin. And it's the edge. And the edge is not as popular. And the edge is a lot more complicated. But it's like that with every single issue.
Virgin Radio.
It's 9:20. We're IRL, we're in real life, we're IRT, we're in real time, we're doing what podcasts can't. Even though I love podcasts, this is what we do from the top of the tower with our pals at the National Lottery. And now, a guy I've been so excited about meeting today. He's been on the show before, but we've never met in person today. Vas, is over to you.
Our next guest is a comedian, writer, producer, presenter, podcaster, actor, author, bona fide megastar. His new illustrated fable, Into the Uncut Grass, is out now. And it's quite an endeavour from the Please Live Forever, very clever Trevor Noah.
All right, Trevor.
That's amazing. I should have that intro everywhere we go. Vassos, we need to roll together, just in general.
With
just
great
like
pleasure.
lunches, dinners, general events.
That's what all the boys say to him, and the girls, all the guests. Seriously, I mean, who's the guy who does the boxing? Oh, did the boxing?
Oh, Michael Buffer.
Yeah, you could do that. I like that.
I'd love to do that.
He's
do you know
like
how
worth
much
$400 million or something,
Yeah,
isn't he?
it's £1 million a shot for him.
Yeah, I think he was,
say,
yeah.
Let's get ready to
They
rumble.
don't use him anymore.
No, I don't think they can afford. I don't think the fights make enough to afford him.
Yeah,
anymore.
because they didn't use him in the Tyson fight, and I thought he's nailed on for it. This is a new kid, new guy in town. I don't know what he charges, but mate rates. Trevor, well done, congratulations, great book, man.
Thank you very much.
Great book,
Appreciate
it's a beautiful,
Thank
beautiful
you.
book. How much does it tell us about you and your own mum?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I think it gives away what a lot of our lives were. It was conflict and then comedy. You know, a good combination of the two. And I don't think it's really different for most people. You know, the first conflict you experience in your life generally will be with your parents. Like that is the first oppressive force most human beings encounter.
Or your bigger brother or sister.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think your parents are the first ones who say no. They're the first ones who block you. They're the first ones who, you know.
And the thing is, they don't know what they're doing because we're all winging it, aren't we? You know that. We're all winging it. Yeah, we just got bigger bodies and we look older, we look wiser, but we're not really.
Yeah, most people are winging it. Most people who run the world are winging it.
Here we go.
That's a depressing thing you discover when you go into certain boardrooms. You're like,
Yeah, I thought you were talking about something that happened at home a couple of weeks ago.
No, I'm just saying everywhere in the world, you'll be shocked at how many people running the world are just winging it.
Yeah, everybody's winging it. Of course we are. You can't. It's very difficult to know one thing in your life, let alone
But
more
wouldn't
than
it be
that.
great if we were just honest about that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun if parents said to kids, hey, listen, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
There was just a night that we had a little fun one night and then you came along 9 months later and now we're winging it.
Yeah.
So these are the rules because we think they should be the rules.
To be honest, I'm 18 years older than you and I do have that conversation with my kids, especially my 15-year-old son. You know, we've had a few sit-downs recently where I said, look, Noah, you know, his name's Noah, you know I don't know what I'm doing. And he says, oh, yeah, I figured that one out a long time ago. I said, look, I don't know what I'm doing. You got to help me here. You know, and it's a really liberating thing for a dad
You
to
see,
say.
I like that for you.
Yeah.
I actually like that for you a lot.
Yeah.
And so, wait, what does Noah say in response?
It's the time where we are most communicative, and we are very close anyway, thank God. But it's because I'm reaching out to him. I'm saying, look, I don't know what to do in this situation, so I need you to either tell me or to help me get there, or how do we get there together? And it always works. It makes me tear up thinking about it.
I love that. Yeah, you see, I wish more parents did that. And that's part of what the book is about. Is like, I think I wanted to write a book that was simple enough that children would enjoy it, but then about a topic complicated enough that adults would have to engage in it.
It's a beautiful book. I
So
mean,
it's fundamentally about conflict resolution, you know?
I told you before, I have grandkids, but I also have twin 6-year-olds, and we have story time every single night. Last night we had the Mr. N. Last night we had Mr. Impossible. But we're having this tonight, and they're going to love it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we have the boy. The boy is nameless. So the boy can be any boy or girl.
Yes.
It can be any small person on the planet.
Yes.
And the boy has a little teddy who does have a name called Walt, and he's called Walter. One of my twins is called Walter.
I'm loving this connection. So we've got Noah.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Walter. We need to find more.
Well, yesterday we had Josh Brolin on, whose son is called Trevor. So there you go. That's
This is like the perfect combination.
Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? Because he's got the little bear, and the bear is alive if he wants it to be, and not if he doesn't want it to be, because imagination is more important than knowledge, as Einstein said, and as you cite in the beginning of the book.
It's more, for me, it's less about, you know, whether it's the imagination or not. And I think it's something we all have, and that's our conscience, right? And I always think to myself, like, the conscience is an amazing thing because it's, you know, depending on how you were taught about it, fundamentally it's still the same thing. It's just the voice in your head that's telling you about you and how you exist in the world. So you can argue with it, it can argue with you, it can encourage you, it can discourage you. And fundamentally that's what's happening here is like I was trying to play with this thing that we forget, and I think you experience, is like children. Oftentimes, people make it seem like young kids don't have agency because they're young and because they aren't able to articulate themselves. But we forget that they have a schedule that is maybe more packed than ours every single day.
Yeah.
Even like a 5-year-old goes, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do this and I have to do that. And there's just like a joy in playing with that and saying, what happens when you disrupt their world as an adult, and how do they process that apart from you?
Brilliant. Because they are full-time.
They really are.
And we're not full-time.
They really are.
We're not full-time parents. Stay-at-home mum, stay-at-home dad, still not full-time parents. Kids are full-time. They have you down 24/7, and they will bring you down because we're just chances. All parents to kids are chances. We parent when we want to. We parent when we remember to. Sometimes we say things, but we don't follow them with our actions. The best thing we can do is teach from behind, is teaching with your actions.
You're the best advocate I've ever come across, Chris. This is amazing.
Honestly?
Yeah, no, I mean, because like a lot of people, I think, don't want to admit that they don't know what's happening, and they don't want to, they'll be like, listen to your parents, and you're out here being like, listen, man.
Vulnerability
listen,
is your superpower.
These people are unqualified and terrible at best, but let's see what happens.
Talking about the voice in your head is interesting. So the voice in your head is not you. I don't think it's you. So I think your imagination is you. And so what I tell myself to do, and what we talked about on the show before, is if that voice in your head, if it's on some kind of doom loop, repeat, that's not you, that's your chimp. And your chimp is trying to take over. So you need to give your chimp a job. So it's master and servant, right? And the chimp is there to serve us. And sometimes when we're low or tired or whatever, or drunk or whatever it may be, chimp takes over. Chimp is not you. So when I'm on a run, running and running and running and running, carrying on running, Vassos runs ultras as well. And, keeping on running, basically, to complete 26 miles or whatever, you have to resist your constant desire to stop. That's what that is.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah, and your chimp is like, the more tired you get, the more the chimp's like, you gotta stop now, you're really tired now. And you have to talk out loud to your chimp.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting older, I Googled it the other day, why do people as they get older talk out loud more often? And it's because we're fed up of the flipping chimp. And I talk out loud.
But it's funny, wait, so you think it's not you?
No, it's part of you.
Okay.
But it's not the driver, it's the passenger.
Got it.
Yeah. So
what if they're both co-pilots?
I don't think that ever happens.
You don't think so?
I think that's the chimp's trick. He said, look, we're in this together. Yeah, no, you're still the chimp. You still work for me.
That's interesting. I don't know. I maybe I have a different relationship with my chimp, as you call it.
Yeah. There's a book called The Chimp Paradox.
In my head, I think of it as more, because we don't exist in one plane as human beings. I feel like both are co-pilots. Both are happening at the same time, and both are doing the thing. So the one that is telling you, like the chimp that is saying you need to stop, is there to protect you sometimes. It is there to, but when you're saying it out loud, you're just like deafening. You know what I mean? You're silencing the chimp. But sometimes I think you can have a conversation with the chimp and be like, all right, I hear why you say that. But
no, so the chimp is there to save your life as your servant. It's just when
This
the
is
chimp
an
takes
interesting
over as the
relationship.
master, when he flips, I don't know, in jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I'm
Yeah,
sure there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
move.
Yes.
You know, something like that.
When you pass the guard,
yeah,
probably.
and you go, oh, whoa, I'm still in charge here. That's the difference. The
okay.
thing with children, it's only my opinion, the thing with children is they don't really have a chimp. Because they haven't developed their chimp yet, which is why they're so authentic.
Yes.
Which is why their
Yes.
imagination is so important, because they genuinely are first
They
person self.
They haven't gotten to the place where they have been forced to see themselves and judge themselves in relation to others.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful moment that we don't encourage and nurture enough. And you see it, it's funny, you see it as soon as a child gets to a certain age. So for the book, I did a thing on my podcast where I interviewed kids, and from the age of like 5 or 6 all the way to 15. And it was interesting to actually watch self-consciousness in human beings
Creep
at different
in.
ages. Yeah. The 5-year-old had none of that.
Yeah.
5-year-old was like, I need to stand up now and shake my legs. And that's what she did.
Yeah.
And the 14-year-old was like, oh, wait, can I say that again? That sounded weird.
Yeah.
Maybe I should switch that out.
That's
and
the chimp?
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
interesting.
So this lovely poem, here we go, part of the book here. We're talking to Trevor Noah about this brilliant book, Into the Uncut Grass. It's stunning. It is stunning. Walter cleared his throat. Walter is the little bear. Brush our teeth so our breath smells clean. Wash our face in case we are seen. Comb our hair to keep the lice away. And make our bed so we can start the day. His eyes softened as he watched the boy's face slide into a frown. I don't know how you keep forgetting it. Your mother even made it rhyme. Is that really a poem from your childhood?
No, it isn't.
Oh! We all thought it was.
No,
We're all
it isn't.
Cheering. Oh, it's so nice. He's put his mum's poem in the
Oh,
book.
I wish. No, I wish my mom would make. My mom was just like, go wash your face. That was the poem.
No, that's terrible. Bye, Trevor. Nice interviewing you. Oh my gosh.
I wish I could say it was, but no, it wasn't.
All right.
No, my mom would sing things to me, but
Yeah.
she wouldn't.
Oh, this is good. 'Cause
No, she would. She would just like. So my mom has this ability to recall any song at any time about any topic that is about anything. And I don't know how she does it.
Wow.
So we used to watch, I don't know if you had shows like this in the UK, but we had these shows in South Africa where they would like play like one note of a song. So they just go, long walk, and they play one note.
Name that tune.
Oh, is that what? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I used to watch that with my mom, and we watched it in another language that we didn't really speak. But she was so good with the music that she could do it, right? So my whole life she's been able to do this. So I would be... The thing I would have with my mom is I would say to her, for instance, I'll go like, oh, mom, it's just like, I'm tired. And then she'd just like go into a song. I would never know what the song was.
Right.
And I think when I was young, I used to think my mom, I thought she had like a mental issue. Because I didn't know the music. I'm not even lying. I didn't know she was singing a song. So imagine you with your mom.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I would be crying. And then my mom would be like, oh, why are you crying? And I'll be like, I can cry if I want to. And she'd be like, it's my party. I can cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. And then I'll be like, what just happened here?
But in a different language.
No, she'd sing this in English.
no.
The songs were in English. No. But she'd just sing this. And my whole life, that's what she did. So there were moments when, you know, she was giving instruction or encouragement or just telling me a story. And she still does it till this day.
It's a minefield,
She just switches into a song. And then I'll have to Google the song and figure out what it is. It's from everywhere from the 50s all the way through to present day.
Yeah. So my wife is an amazing mum. She's an amazing mum, and she does too much sometimes. Yesterday she was a bit broken in the afternoon. She was just trying to do too much for the kids, and Christmas is coming up, and my daughter's come down with the grandkids, so we're having Christmas #1 this weekend, so we've got to go again early. You know, it was getting to her. And, you know, watching my wife being a mum and being a wife, and then realising that I'm supposed to be half of that partnership, a parenting partnership. And when you zoom out from your own couple parenting efforts, then you realise, you know, we don't really need to say as many things as we say. So we are saying less now. So that when we speak, the kids hear more.
Oh, I like that.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. This is. It's funny. I feel like you are experiencing what a lot of Western parenting is slowly moving towards. That I feel like African people and many indigenous people just did instinctively.
Tell us more about that.
So, over the past few decades, there's been a school of thought that's sort of started to adopt your thinking now, which is raising children in the West has been a lot of focusing on the children and making them the primary focus of everything that is happening, which includes a lot of instruction. Don't touch that. Don't do that. Hey, are you okay? What are you doing? Oh, that's nice. Did you pick that up? Oh, look at you. Oh, what's happened? And what they're finding over time is there's literally no research and no body of work that says that that's good for the development of a child. It just seems unnecessary and takes a lot of brain power from parents. And they found what's more important is your presence. Just presence. And just the kids mirroring how you are around other people. Yeah. They see that you have conversations. They see that you engage. They then imagine by themselves. They play by themselves. And I've been interested to see that evolution take place. Because, like, really, African grandparents and parents, the kids will be around. And then they just engage with each other and they talk to each other and you know what I mean? And it's a weird thing that happens by osmosis. I think children learn a lot more than through instruction. Yeah. You know? And so...
Also,
it's funny hearing you say that, actually.
How qualified are we? So Noah, at the moment, the 15-year-old, he's revising for his mock O-levels, 16-year-old exams. And there's a room in our house where you can go and do some schoolwork, and on Saturdays and Fridays it's gaming room, but it doubles up as a sort of schoolroom. And so what I'll do now is, if like your book, for example, and Alison's book she was in before, so yes, last night I will go in there and read my books while he's revising for his exams. And just the vibe, you can feel it, just the fact that I'm in the same room as him doing something similar, it tells him how much I love him. Yeah. You know, without ever having, and if I said it, it wouldn't, even if I meant it, it doesn't land, not even 1,000th as well as that. It's so important, isn't it? You know, and the whole thing about linguistics, and there's that whole phrase about the teacher will turn up when the student is ready, but actually we all know it's the other way around. The student will turn up when the teacher's ready, and that's parenting.
I love that.
It's thinking you're the
inspiring
teacher, but you're not. Because
do you give these tips every day, by the way?
Every day.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, that's why some nice people like you bothered to come to the show, and other things as well. But when you're a kid, it's the kids that are the teachers, because we've all been kids. Yeah, we all smashed it as a kid. You know, whether we were naughty, whether we end up in jail, you know, whether we won X Factor, or whether we end up doing this, or we all smashed. Being a kid's easy. It's being a grown up that's hard, and that's why the kids are there. Everything is counterthink.
Well, I think. So here's what it is. I think we have taken for granted the fact that kids, especially today, are being forced or are being judged by a very few parameters because they're moving into a society that values very few things or fewer things than it used to, right? So, like I say this as somebody who grew up with ADHD, and for a long time people just said like, oh, you're hyperactive, oh, you can't concentrate, or you can't this, or you can't that. And the more I've learned, the more I've spoken to experts, the more I've read, the more I've understood the topic, I've realized there's so many kids out there who are just being themselves. And there was a time when that self would have probably been celebrated and put in a place, you know. So, oh, you're artistic, oh, you're athletic, oh, you're energetic, But now we're so focused on, like, you know what I mean. The window's closing in. It's becoming a lot more myopic, and now it's like this is where your qualification. If you're not a doctor, if you're not an engineer, you're wasting the world's time. Yeah. You know, and it's like, yeah, but where is the artist? Yeah. You know, when the doctor goes home and they want to watch something on telly to like de-stress, what are they watching if nobody's making that? Yeah. And what are they eating if nobody's cooking it? Yeah. And what are they singing if nobody's writing it? And and I think we've forgotten that there are so many ways for people to be that are of value that don't necessarily have a dollar or a pound sign next to it. But those things bring value. And I think that's where we struggle with kids sometimes, is people go, my kid is wrong because the kid is being themselves, as opposed to saying, this is who my kid is. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the best ways to encourage that in them to get them to where they need to be.
Superpower in front of us right now. The kids' superpowers.
Yeah.
You know, let's get a magnifying glass on that. Let's not get a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, definitely.
That kind of thing. I saw your Joe Biden YouTube piece on November the 3rd. I was in New York on November the 3rd.
You were?
Yeah, I was. And I saw your thing, and it was so gently supportive because you were doing your best for Joe, weren't you?
No, I wasn't actually. I think no. I think that's a misconception.
Sorry,
actually.
I apologise.
No. Please don't at all. It's
Maybe I took some judgment with me.
you. So you know what it is?
Yeah.
Is like right now, I'm enjoying spending time thinking hard about what has happened, how we participated in what happened, and what things really meant. You know, I think we live in a society where, for the good and bad, we have instant access to everything. The instant access to an emotion, instant access to express that emotion, the instant access, you know what I mean? So, what did you think of the game? Liverpool was trash. This shouldn't have happened. It's instant.
We haven't talked about Liverpool, by the way. Big fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. But it's like the moment, and because we can do it now, you can tweet it out now, you can send it out now. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But then what it also does is it limits our ability to pause and think about the whole thing. So you go, was it a bad game, or were there a few moments that frustrated me? Was the result not what I wanted, but was the game good? And I think about this with life, with politics, with everything that we do. In that clip, what I was trying to get to is it's not even necessarily about like Joe Biden per se, but it's just like the way people were. I mean, I think it's the way people are with old people. You know, I think people like in society we treat old people like trash. You know. They're slow, or they're forgetful, or they're like this, or that. The underlying message is always they're useless. It's like, well, wait, when did we become this society? You know what I mean? We're moving so quickly. It's like, when did we discard people just because they have aged, like they've lived through life? I was brought up in a world where I'm guilty of not always remembering it, but I was brought up in a world where it's like, these are the people you celebrate. You know, these were the holders of your culture. These were the people who had shaped you, and these were the people who like, in many ways, reminded you of your future, which I know is a paradox, but it's a beautiful thing to think about. So when I did that piece on Joe Biden, I was just like, it's so crazy how people were angry with the man for getting old. That's all they were angry about. Like, you know, even when I think about it now, people are like, how could you? You old, and then everything that he did became the ultimate expression of his oldness, as if people don't make mistakes, as if people don't say dumb things, as if people aren't forgetful, but it's like, yeah, an older person isn't as slick. An older person isn't as agile, you know, at disguising their mistakes. We all trip when we walk. It's just older people aren't able to disguise the trip. You know, so you're walking, there's a piece of the pavement or the sidewalk that comes up a little, you're going to trip. Your stumble is a lot quicker. That's it. Right? But now when an old person does it, you're like, I don't know if they should be walking, you know? And so, yeah, I think that was it. And that's really what I'm enjoying exploring more in my comedy, in my life, and everything now, is sort of going back a little bit and being like, what were we doing back then?
Yeah,
what was happening?
Let's bring it back to the book. Trevor Noah is in here to talk about Into the Uncut Grass and anything we like, because he's such a generous guest. But it's interesting you say that about a certain time in our life, whether it's from 20 to 60 or 25 to 55 or wherever it is for whoever.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we are in denial of the fact that we were children while parenting,
yes,
for some bizarre reason, and we're in denial of the fact we're going to get old, with regards to older people. What the heck is wrong with us?
Yeah. I think we are not. We spend very little time appreciating each time and what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when I think of that, I think of how many parents, and please don't get me wrong, I understand this.
Yes.
It's not like, not that I don't understand it, but I think of how many times parents get angry at their kids because they feel like their kid is doing something to them.
Yeah.
You're disrespecting me.
I know.
How could you do that to me? Your work is terrible. Your teachers called me, and it's me, and it's me, and
you
like,
realize how this makes us look?
Exactly.
Yes.
And I always try and tell parents, I go, it's not about you.
Yeah.
Your child is living their life.
Yeah.
And sometimes you forget that when you were a child, people asked you, they were like, why did you do that? I remember when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And someone would say, why did you do that? And I'll be like, I didn't think about it at the time.
Yeah.
I don't remember why I did that, actually.
Well, it's funny because some parents at some of their most parenting moments, by the way, takes one to know one, act so childishly.
We never lose it.
We buy the kids the toys so we can throw them out of the pram. That's what goes on there, isn't it? I think so anyway. Trevor, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? You're only 40. Jeez, what are you going to do, man?
That's a beautiful sentence. Thank you. Well, I mean, I live it like there's going to be a rest of it, I hope. So,
what do you think's going to happen? What do you, any idea? Just like,
No.
rough outline.
Rough outline?
Yeah, come on.
I said this to a friend recently, and I do believe this. I said, what I'm trying to do now with my life is enjoy the work that I've put in and the success that I've been lucky enough to achieve. Because I don't think success is necessarily indicative of the work you've put in. I think you're lucky that it pays off. So I'm using that luck now. Like now I focus mostly on my friends, my family, contributing, doing things that leave me feeling fulfilled.
You have a section on luck in the book, don't you?
Yeah.
There's a
luck,
coin.
Luck is massive. I don't understand why we don't spend more time talking about luck in society. I feel like religious people do. I grew up in a very religious family, and religious people call it blessings, right? They go, "You're blessed."
I love
you were
that.
blessed.
I love
Oh,
that.
you're blessed.
Yeah.
But I go, we take for granted how much luck defines everything.
Yeah.
And it's all on us. Oh, good job. Great job. No, luck. There's also luck. Everyone works hard, or many people work hard, and luck ends up being the thing that defines whether or not you get the job, or you succeed in the moment, or your relationship works, or it's just luck.
I agree with you, and I also agree with it is maybe part of our job to make yourself the biggest target for luck to hit. Mm-hmm. That's a lovely way of looking
Definitely.
at it. I think that has a hand in it.
Definitely, completely. But remember, luck goes both ways when you do it that way, right?
Yeah, and also
because that's the theory of luck.
One of your great things in the book is, there are two sides to every coin. No, there are three. Don't forget the edge.
Yeah. And that's the thing I'm trying to do more of in life. And I think we should all try and do it as much as we can in life. We live in a world where we're constantly taught, and I think this has been exacerbated, over the past few decades with social media. We're taught that there are two sides to every issue. It's this or it's that. It's this or it's that. Everything. It's this. Are you pro this or anti this? Are you pro this or... And I go, there's a third side to every single coin. And it's the edge. And the edge is not as popular, and the edge is a lot more complicated, but it's like that with every single issue. It's like that with everything. It doesn't matter whether it's macro or micro. It doesn't matter if we're talking about politics on a large scale or if we're talking about interpersonal relationships between human beings. There's an edge. It's like, oh, my dad is wrong or my dad is right. My mom was a bad mom or she was a good mom. It's like, no, there's an edge that's a lot more nuanced and probably a lot more true. And it's that there were things that your mom was probably terrible at raising you, and there are things that your mom was probably amazing at. There's things that she was trying to do that she didn't achieve, and then things that she didn't try hard enough. The same thing goes for your dad. The same thing goes for your family, your grandparents, your siblings, your lover, your spouses, whoever you want to talk about. And I think that edge is boring, and it's a lot more complicated, and the chimp inside us doesn't care to engage with that. And so it's easier to just go, did you like it or did you hate it? Is it good or is it bad? Is it, and that becomes a lot easier because then you just get to go like, here's where I am. I'm pro this or I'm anti this. And, it's just like, I've heard people ask me like random things. They'll be like, oh, do you like London food? And I'm like, which food in London?
Yeah. People say to me, I don't like America. I go, that's impossible.
Yes, where in
it's
America? It's
not even a statement.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, and it's the edge that holds the two sides together. That's a lovely metaphor. And also it goes on forever, doesn't it?
It really does.
Let's keep talking about this. Let's keep going round until we figure this out.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a rest and we'll figure it out. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll figure it out or it'll figure itself out or whatever.
Yeah, we're always just figuring out moments in it. That's what I think.
Right, very quickly, we are so out of time. It's not funny. But it's beginning to be funny from behind the glass. Liverpool last night, 2-0 Real Madrid. How did you become a Liverpool fan?
I think it was like a perfect series of events. So the first thing I did was I always said, like, I will support any team that I get to see live in person, like for the first time. If I see a team
That'll be
live,
your team.
that'll be the team. And I was
Perfect.
like, let it happen.
Why not?
I didn't watch much live sports in South Africa, and this was a thing. And so, Liverpool, I saw them live. They were the first team I saw live. But I remember,
on the telly or live?
No, live. Like
How come?
live. Because they were coming to the US on one of those tours.
Happens.
And that was like the first time I went there and saw the team live.
Los Angeles, New York.
New York.
Fun, man. All the
But
fun.
before that, I remember loving. So I used to be a player supporter only.
Right.
I was vehemently against supporting teams.
Yeah.
Because I felt like teams didn't support you back.
I like that.
You loved them. All of a sudden, they'd make a change.
Yeah.
They didn't consult you as a fan. And I was like, I feel like this loyalty goes one way. I didn't approve any of these changes. So why do I have to stick with the team?
Whose fan were you?
So I just used to be player fan. So I loved like Zinedine Zidane. I loved Ronaldinho. I mean, these are the obvious choices. But 3 players that I really loved: Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
And then it was Daniel Sturridge, and it was Raheem Sterling, and it was Luis Suarez, and that triple S combination up front.
There you go.
That was just, I loved the players. So I watched more Liverpool at that time. That's how I ended up going to a game. And I loved and still love Jurgen Klopp from the Dortmund days because I was a big Marco Rios fan. Right? So I was like, okay, I love Marco
You're a
Rios.
proper football fan then.
Yeah, I love Marco,
Love
and
it.
I love that team, and Mario Götze and all of those guys, and Hummels, and that Dortmund squad was such a particular, it was an amazing, because it was David and Goliath playing against Bayern Munich at the time, and Bayern Munich was everything, and you know what I mean? And they were doing so well, and I loved that team, and Jurgen Klopp was the coach, so I loved Klopp. And then when Klopp moved to Liverpool, I was like, well, I mean, this is now everything.
Yeah.
And then I met the team. I went to watch a game in person, met Klopp. We talked about comedy.
See, I've never met Jurgen Klopp.
He's
You
amazing.
fantastic.
I'm shocked he hasn't come on the show.
So am I. I'm outraged. In fact,
he's
furious.
great. He's great.
Do you know him?
He's great. One of the
his
smartest,
number?
kindest, everything. No, I don't know him like that, but every time we've hung out.
In that case, we're done. Great to meet you, Trev.
Thank you so
Can
much,
we have
Chris.
a massive round of applause, please, for Trevor Noah? The book's out now. It's a beautiful book. It's a great book. It's for everyone. Into the Uncut Grass, illustrated by Sabina Hahn. Trevor Noah.
Thank you so
Boom.
much. Thank you, everybody. Thank
Well
you so
done,
much,
my
Chris
friend.
Evans.
Well done.